Aquaman, a name now synonymous with the underwater realm, was not always the crowd favorite. In the vast universe of superheroes, he was often overlooked, deemed less exciting than his caped and masked counterparts. Yet like a pearl formed in the depths of the sea, Aquaman's true value lay hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. Born from the creative minds of Paul Norris and Mort Weisinger, Aquaman made his debut in the DC Comics world in 1941. It was a time of global unrest, with the world at war, and the comic book industry was still in its infancy. Yet, amidst this chaos, a new hero was born, one who would defy the traditional norms of superheroism. In More Fun Comics #73, readers were introduced to this strange new character. He was not from another planet, nor was he a billionaire with a penchant for crime fighting. Instead, he was a man of two worlds, born of a human father and an Atlantean mother. His name was Arthur Curry, but the world would soon come to know him as Aquaman. Yet despite his unique abilities to breathe underwater, communicate with sea life, and exhibit superhuman strength, Aquaman struggled to find his place amongst his superhero peers. He was different, and in a world that often fears the unfamiliar, he was dismissed. In these early years, Aquaman was often the butt of jokes, his powers deemed less impressive, his stories less compelling. But every tide has its ebb and flow, and Aquaman was no exception. As the years passed, this underwater hero began to delve deeper, exploring the depths of his character and the vastness of his kingdom. His narratives took on a darker, more complex tone, and slowly but surely, Aquaman began to rise from the ocean depths. But it was not until many years later that the king of Atlantis would truly make his splash. Born as Arthur Curry to the lighthouse keeper Thomas Curry and the outcast Atlantean queen Atlanta, Aquaman was destined for greatness from the start. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill birth story? No, this was the birth of a hybrid, a blend of human resilience and Atlantean might. Thomas Curry, a humble lighthouse keeper, found Atlanta, a fugitive queen from the mythical underwater city of Atlantis, washed ashore during a violent storm. Their unlikely love story resulted in the birth of Arthur, a child who would soon straddle two worlds. As Arthur grew, he discovered abilities that set him apart. He could swim faster than any creature, breathe underwater, and communicate with sea life. These were not just tricks or talents, but signs of his dual heritage. Each day he spent in the water, he felt more connected to a world he was yet to fully understand. Little did young Arthur know, his destiny was to rule an entire kingdom. Coming of age, Arthur's life took a dramatic turn, a twist of fate that would forever change the course of his existence. As the son of a lighthouse keeper, Arthur Curry lived a humble life. But destiny, as we know, has a peculiar way of asserting itself. The death of his father, a man of the land, propelled him towards his mother's legacy, a legacy of the sea. His mother, Atlanta, was the exiled queen of the underwater city of Atlantis. With his father's passing, Arthur was left with a profound sense of loss and a yearning for answers. This yearning led him to the depths of the ocean, to a world he was born from but was yet to understand. Atlantis. Atlantis, a city of shimmering beauty and ancient secrets, was a world away from the lighthouse. There, he discovered a civilization, his mother's people, living under the sea. But acceptance wasn't immediate. He was seen as an outsider, a half-breed, neither fully human nor fully Atlantean. This, however, did not deter him. Arthur was determined to bridge the gap between his dual heritage. In Atlantis, he faced trials and tribulations, challenges that tested his mettle, his courage, and his worthiness to be their king. He struggled, he fought, he learned, and he grew. He grew into his Atlantean heritage, understanding their ways, their customs, and their language. He trained under the guidance of Nudus Vulko, mastering Atlantean combat and navigation, cultivating his inherent abilities to communicate with marine life. Through sheer determination and resilience, Arthur earned his place among the Atlanteans. He won their respect, their trust, and ultimately, their loyalty. The outsider, the half-breed, was now their king. His ascension to the throne was not a mere change in status, but a transformation of identity. With scepter in hand, Arthur Curry was no more. He was now Aquaman, the king of Atlantis. His journey had come full circle. From a lighthouse keeper's son to the ruler of an underwater kingdom, Arthur had embraced his destiny, embodying the unity of two worlds. And so, Aquaman was born. Over the years, Aquaman's popularity has surged like a tidal wave. This maritime monarch first made a splash in the comic book world in 1941, but it was in the 60s that he truly began to make his mark. As one of the founding members of the Justice League, Aquaman swam alongside legendary heroes like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, cementing his place in the pantheon of DC's finest. But it wasn't just his Justice League affiliation that propelled him into the spotlight. Aquaman's own comic series, which kicked off in the late 60s, allowed readers to dive deeper into his world. His storylines were filled with political intrigue, epic battles, and a rich mythology that expanded the DC universe in unexpected ways. His character evolved from a simple underwater adventurer to a complex, multi-dimensional hero. As the decades rolled on, Aquaman's influence spread beyond the comic book pages. He made appearances in numerous animated series, from Super Friends in the 70s to Justice League in the early 2000s. His character was consistently portrayed as a noble and courageous leader, further endearing him to audiences. The 2010s marked a significant milestone in Aquaman's journey. The King of Atlantis made his live-action debut in the DC Extended Universe, first in a cameo in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, then as a key player in Justice League. But it was his solo film, Aquaman, released in 2018, that truly catapulted him into the pop culture stratosphere. The film's blend of high-sea adventure, stunning visuals, and a charismatic performance by Jason Momoa brought Aquaman to life in a way that resonated with audiences around the world. From the comic book pages to the big screen, Aquaman has truly become a pop culture icon. Long live the King of Atlantis!